Welcome into the Roll Tide Rewind. We have Cam back, but Cole is joining us today. Cole, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Ready to dive into some film.
Ready to dive into some film. Well, this is a different type of film that we're going to do today. We're going to discuss where does Ty Simpson rank among the quarterbacks in the playoff. I'm going to say their names, and we're going to discuss, is Ty better or is Ty worse? And what a time to do it. First quarterback, let's go with Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah,
this one's pretty easy, guys, in my opinion.
Mendoza.
I don't think we need to
this is when we talked about him the last time we did this, and I think we were in agreement then it was Mendoza, and I don't think there's anything that could change it since then. So.
Yeah, he's probably winning the Heisman. He's probably going to be the number one overall draft pick. Ties in comparable to him.
Julian Sayin. Cam, you go.
Oh. It's a good question. I mean, I think I would go Sayin, but I guess he transferred before Kalen DeVore even got a look at him. So, yeah, I'd go Sayin.
I also go with Sayin. That's 3-0. I think we get one. Let's get Ty on the board here. John Mateer.
Yeah, I'd go Ty.
I would also go Ty. Mateer just hasn't looked the same since the injury he suffered earlier in the year. Earlier in the year, I think it was more of a debate, and then kind of Mateer started to fall off, and then recently Ty's kind of fallen off. So it's maybe more of a debate now than it was for a while. But I think I'm still comfortably on Ty over Mateer.
Yeah. I think like 3 weeks in, it was easily Mateer breaks his hand. Then Ty has his run. It flips to then now it's easily Ty, and now both of them have fallen off of that cliff. And now we're kind of back at ground zero. But I would give it to Ty. Cole's guy, Dante Moore.
Yeah, Dante Moore.
Yeah, Dante Moore. From Detroit.
Dante Moore's very good. Very good for Oregon. It's kind of hard to tell because they haven't played a very tough schedule. So we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But I think it's Dante Moore for me.
Yeah, I think Cole's right.
The 3 Big Ten quarterbacks get unanimous picks over Ty Simpson. The guy that Ty just played, Gunnar Stockton.
Take Gunnar, I think. I think Georgia's offense is built around what Gunnar is good at. So if you put Gunnar in the Alabama offense, maybe it's a little different. But yeah, I think I'd go Gunnar if we at least get the offense that he's good in.
Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree on this one. I think I'll take Ty here. I think Gunnar's okay, but as Cam mentioned, I think they're very much – it feels like they're hiding him a lot. And I feel like they did that against us. Now, they didn't need to expose him because they killed us even with him not pressing the ball down the field. But I think it's much easier to succeed in that Georgia offense that I think their run game is significantly better than ours. I think they've got – it's scary to say this, but I think they might have better weapons than us too with how some of the regression we've seen from Ryan Williams. Jeremy Bernard has been solid, but not as good as he quite was at the beginning of the season. I think 1-for-1, I'd prefer Ty over Stockton.
I guess it comes down to my vote. I guess I would give it a Ty, but Gunnar hasn't been playing well lately either way. But in the past 2 weeks, his yards per attempt is like, it was some like ungodly number, but somehow Ty's was worse. But yeah, both have just not been playing well as of late, but both are going to have to be asked of a lot in this playoff, especially because if Georgia's going to make it to the final, they got to probably get through Ohio State. And if Alabama's somehow going to run through the table, it's Oklahoma, it's Indiana, it's probably Texas Tech or Oregon. So you got to run through a lot of these guys. Trinidad Chambliss. This is an interesting one.
Pride of, Ferris State.
Ferris State.
Yes. It's Chambliss for me.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go Chambliss. Again, I think a lot of it probably has to do with the offense. I mean, Kiffin's gone, but Kiffin calls a great offense and puts players in really good situations that fit their skill sets, unlike maybe our offensive coordinator. Yeah, I think I'd go Chambliss.
Yeah, and Charlie Wash Jr. I think will be calling this game calling in the playoff, even though he But, Lane probably is the one calling those plays, and Lane's not going to be there. Now Charlie Weiss is going to have to call these plays. But, also he's recruiting for LSU right now. His mind's probably also somewhere else. So wondering how that affects their preparation moving forward too.
Yep.
But I'd also give it to Trinidad as well. So right now I think Ty's middle of the pack, but we'll see what happens. Marcel Reed.
This is maybe the toughest one on the list for me. I want somebody else to go first. I still got to think about it.
Yeah, I feel like Marcel Reed has been he's a great runner. Is he a great quarterback? I think that's yet to be seen. I mean, Texas A&M hasn't been tested that much other than playing Texas and Notre Dame. And I think about the South Carolina game. Marcel Reed did not look good in the first half. I think I'd go Ty, but it's close.
Yeah, I mean, Marcel Reed I thought played well in the Notre Dame game, but like you said, Cam, it's kind of hard because they managed to somehow play every bottom half team in the SEC this year, and then the one team they played that had their head above water was Texas, and Texas had caused them to struggle. Ty looked great against Georgia one time, looked bad the other time. Mm-hmm. It's just hard because we've watched these games the past month. Ty, like Cole mentioned it in when we did the week 8 film review on Ty Simpson, Cole mentioned Ty had looked worse every game since the Georgia game. And I never really considered that. But ever since Cole said that, he's gotten worse every single game since that film review. Mm-hmm. LSU game, he started missing deep balls. And I was thinking, is this a problem? And then I don't remember him ever hitting a deep ball after that game. And then he started missing the open mid-range routes, mid routes. Open, and now against Georgia, he was missing swing routes to Daniel Hill out of the backfield. He's missing easy checkdowns. I don't know. I think I may have to give it to Marcel Reed. I think I made because of what the damage that he can do on his legs, I think is more deadly than what Ty's doing with his arm. So I think I got to go with Marcel Reed.
Okay, good. I get to break the tie. Like I mentioned, this one's super razor thin for me. Marcel Reed coming into the year was a guy I did not really believe in, and every single week I watch him, I'm starting to believe a little bit more. Even in the game, like you mentioned, Cam, against South Carolina, where he came out and looked so bad in the first half. He turns around and he looks like the best player on the field in the second half. So I'm still going to go with Ty. It's very, very close. I just think Ty's a little bit less offense dependent. I think Marcel Reed, I worry he might struggle next year if he's back at A&M without Colin Klein, who just took the head coaching job at Kansas State. I think he's the perfect fit for that Colin Klein offense that he likes to run. So I think Ty's a little bit more scheme independent, and I think for that I will go with Ty, but it's very, very close for me.
We'll get these next two out of the way. Jake Retzlaff and then Alonzo Barnett, JMU quarterback, last one, and then Retzlaff is the Tulane quarterback. I think we would go with Ty over those guys. But the next two I think are very interesting. We'll go first with Carson Beck.
I'll go with Beck here, and I may be the only one on Beck. I think a lot of people watched Carson Beck in some of the losses this year and were like, "Oh my goodness, he looks lost," and he absolutely did in those games. But I think on the whole, he's had a very good year at Miami. On the whole, he's top 10 in the country in passer rating for the whole year. I think he's done a pretty good job. He just looks so lost, especially I think it was the Louisville game where he threw 4 interceptions, and I think that was a big. I mean, Miami, I think at the time was number 2 in the country, so that was a game everybody was watching. But yeah. I think on the whole, I think Beck's been a little bit more consistent than Ty has.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, when you turn on the Miami game, they're losing. Let me go watch them. When they're up by 21 points within the first quarter, you're like, all right, that game's over. I'm gonna pay attention to other games. So I think that's a good point about selection bias. Yes, in the games that you've watched Carson Beck play, he doesn't look that great, but he's a good quarterback. There's a reason he'll still get drafted in the top 3 rounds, I would assume.
Yeah, I think I would also go Beck here as well. I think the problem is Beck's is worse than Ty, in my opinion. When Beck goes off the rails, it's off the rails. I don't think I've seen Ty as bad as what Carson Beck's worse is, but Beck is just more consistent. I mean, like I've mentioned, we've watched these games. A lot of people in the country, when they watch Alabama football games, they're like, they may not watch them, but they'll see clips of the game, and Ty will have a good throw every now and then, and they go, man, this is a first round pick. Man, this is the top 3 overall pick. And then I'm like, did you watch that throw? Did you watch that throw? Did you watch that miss? Did you watch that miss? Like, you got to critique the whole game. A lot of people aren't giving up on Ty. I'm not going to give up on Ty. I think there's a lot of factors going into what's going on, but also you can't deny that the easy throws are being missed. And there's no deep ball. He has 0 deep ball, or it's just not being used. It'd be a good time to use it, in my opinion. And then we're going to go with Baron Morton for Texas Tech. Not talked about a lot. He's they are undefeated in games that he starts in this year. The one loss was against Arizona State, and he did not play in that game. Will Hammond started for Texas Tech in that game, and they almost started for Texas Tech against Arizona State. They almost won the game anyway, but you have to think Baron Morton was there. Maybe that's just the difference that they need. So I think I would go with Ty. I think Baron Morton's been put in a good position around the program, but I think Baron Morton is probably the most underrated quarterback in this field.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would lean Ty. I admittedly haven't watched much of Texas Tech, but I think given the ceiling Ty can hit and just like you can rely on him to be a decent quarterback. And I think if you put him in that offense against the teams that they've played this year, I think he's putting up similar numbers.
Yeah, this is a very tough one for me, and this is another one that's super close. I think it's also it's a question of NFL. Like, are we evaluating based on NFL preparedness, or are we evaluating on who's been the better college quarterback? I've been going this entire list off of who's the better college quarterback. I believe that's kind of what we've all been doing. Mm-hmm. And as a better college quarterback, I think I'd rather have Baron Morton. I think he's a little bit more consistent. I do think it's very tough to compare because a lot of the defenses in the Big 12 are very average or below average. But I think even when Baron Morton's faced a good defense like a BYU twice, I think he's played very, very well. And I think Ty struggled over the last few weeks. I think it could absolutely be different if you put Ty on Texas Tech going up against Big 12 defenses. I think you could flip it the other way. But from what we've seen, I think Baron Morton's definitely had a better year than Ty Simpson.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree there. Well, looking at that, we went through everybody. It looks like we have Ty kind of around 6, like in the middle of the pack of the 12. Do you feel like that's pretty much fair? Don't do it, Cam.
That feels right to me. And one thing I want to mention for Ty, we mentioned this the last time we did this exercise. He's struggled the last few weeks. Absolutely. He's also come up against some of the best defenses in the country. Yes. I mean, every defense we played other than Eastern Illinois has been probably, top 10 in the country, probably between LSU, Oklahoma, Auburn, Georgia, all fantastic defenses. I think that's part of the regression we're seeing. I still think he's a solid quarterback, and I think I don't know if it's partially injury. It could be. I don't know, but I think he struggled over the last few weeks. I don't think he's as bad as he's been the last few weeks. I don't think he's as good as he was against maybe Georgia and Vanderbilt. I think he's probably somewhere in the middle, and having him about in the middle of the playoff field feels about right to me.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about him against Auburn. I mean, last year Auburn was an outlier for Jalen Milroe. He kind of was looking awful and then had the Auburn game, played well, and right back to his old self when he plays Michigan in the bowl game. I think Ty looked good against Auburn. Maybe not as good as he did in this Georgia game or in the Vanderbilt game, in the Mizzou game. But when he's not playing a top 10 defense, he definitely can win games for Alabama.
And the great news for that, guys, we replay Oklahoma again and then play the best defense in the country if we win against Indiana. So we're right back to it.
Going to be a tough road.
It's a tough road either way. And then if you win that, you play potentially Texas Tech. And then guess what? If you win that, you potentially play Ohio State. Road's not going to get any easier with these defenses. But thank you guys for watching our This or That with Ty Simpson. We're hoping for a better result than what we saw on Saturday. And hopefully we can get a few more rounds into the playoff and hopefully assert ourselves as a great team again. Well, Thank you guys for joining. Have a great rest of your week and roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.